Today we've got a special episode for you. I'm joined by Mr. Kmak as he comes fresh out of the barbershop and straight into the recording studios to dive deep into an intense debate about the best Mafia movies, the best TV show, and the best rapper of all time. We then switch gears and discuss our favourite moments at RNT, how we've changed over the past year at the company, and what we're most looking forward to in the next 12 months. We kick it off though with a training and beard update, so without further ado, let's dive in. Okay, so I'm here with Mr. Kmak today, and we are recording live. It's been the first time we've done it in a while, so we thought we'd get together and record an episode. And, you know, as soon as he walks in the door, I'm looking at him saying, you know, he looks too fake today. Like, this guy's coming in with the sharpest beard, the sharpest trim ever. And he goes to me, oh, we should record some exercise videos today. And then he sees me, and I haven't had a haircut for like 4 weeks. I'm looking like a hobo, and he walks in like fresh to death. And he's like, I think we should go and record some exercise videos. And even though I'm gonna be in the ones, even I'm gonna be featuring them the most probably, he still wants to embarrass me just so that in a couple months time he could repost it and take the piss, just like the last time. So tell us about what you've done with your beard today.
Nothing crazy, to be honest. I just went to my barber's about an hour and a half ago.
So literally, you just came fresh out of the barbershop, straight to the recording studio.
I told him I've got videos to record today. He said, "All right, I'll make you look like a hero in a freshy accent." And here we are, yeah. Sharpest beard to this date. So I'm proud.
Well, I think it's a good time we were recording today because it's actually funny in that exactly a year ago, I went to LA from the 2nd of August to the 9th of August, right? We're recording today on the 8th. Now, on the 9th of August, so when I was in LA is when I didn't shave, and I came back and I was like, oh, maybe I should try this. Like, you know, this could be the time I could try and finally grow one.
Yeah.
So I didn't shave, and I was like, okay, there's some potential here. But then I had a golf event. I had a charity golf event. So I didn't want to rock up to the golf event looking like a hobo because it was at that point where I only had a mustache and like I had a couple of hairs on my chin. So I thought, oh, I'm going to shave then. And I think that was like on maybe the 13th of August last year. So pretty much bang on a year ago. And that was the last time I did it. And then it was from then I thought, let me commit. Yeah.
Then you committed to my coaching.
Then I committed to your beard coaching. And, you know, here we are a year later. And I'm getting there. Like, for someone who's been struggling for a year. We were talking just before we got on air. You were saying how you've been shaving since you were 11, right?
Yeah, I'm a hairy kid. So I think when I was 13, I had a moustache like you did last year.
The thing is, I didn't shave till I was 17, I think, or 16, 17. I think I shaved first when I was 16. I shaved my moustache off. And then after that, it was like plucking a hair, basically, trying to find it. But, you know, here we are a year later, and I think we're getting there. So we're not only going to, I'm now 4 weeks out from my shoot, so we're not only going to put a before and after picture of this transformation for this summer, we're also going to put a before and after picture of this beard, or the beard progress so far. I think that's going to be more interesting than anything.
That's going to be a game changer, because talking with you right now, you're actually touching your beard, which is like, last year you would have probably been like, what am I doing right now?
Well, this time last year I was 90, I came back from LA, I was 91 kilos.
A true lad.
I was sitting around 90 kilos generally. And that was the last time I'd done a really heavy bulk. Now, then what happened is I accidentally lost like nearly 10 kilos. Like over the course of like 8 to 9 months. Like, it started off like I dropped first 4 or 5 kilos through, I think it was through like stress and general things that were happening. And I wasn't eating as much. And then I just naturally started tidying up, and I thought, oh, you know what? I feel better around 80, 82 kilos. And I stayed there for like 6 months before I decided to drop the hammer once I got back from Asia. And so far on this cut, I mean, I'm 74.5 this morning. We're recording on the 8th of August. So we're about 8 weeks in. And I'm about 6-7 kilos down. So
yeah,
pretty good, pretty normal going for me with the rate of fat loss. And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens here. It'll be interesting. I didn't actually take a normal traditional before picture. I just took what I did take was a flexed one in the bathroom. Do you remember that picture?
Yeah, you showed it.
So I put that picture in the RNT family group actually as well. So they'll have seen it. So I've got that to use as my comparison. But it's been a very interesting diet in that it's been completely different to last time I dieted. Like, for example, last time was when we just set up RNT, and I was still transitioning, but the way I ate was different as well. So I was eating 5 times a day back then. So I used to eat the traditional 7, 10, 1, 4, 7. So eggs for the first meal, shake, main meal, shake, main meal. That pretty standard setup. What I do now is different, but not because there's anything special about it. It's just been the way my diet has just slowly transitioned to make this easier for my lifestyle. And it's now eggs on toast, but around 11, 12 p.m. Sorry, 11 a.m/midday.
So you're fasting, right?
So I'm fasting now. And it's purely for productivity reasons and just delaying that hunger rather than anything fat loss related. And then I train either before or after breakfast. In the last 2 weeks, I've actually done before breakfast just to try it out. And it's I've actually really enjoyed it. So what I'm doing now is I don't look at my email until I get back from the gym. So what I do is I work from 6 till 9, and then I go to the gym 9 till 11. Then I eat breakfast. Then I go into my email. I find that's really working nicely in that what I've done is I've worked to myself and I've moved the business forward before reacting to my phone as well. So like, I haven't even looked at my WhatsApp till then either. So so far so good. And it's probably something I'm going to keep going. I haven't actually experienced any detriment to not having food in my system. So I'm using EAAs, salt, creatine during the training, with a load of caffeine and coffee in the morning. So that's probably helping quite a bit. Yeah. And then yimbine as well. So all that stuff's helping. And it's made it a very different dieting experience in that I don't think I've experienced hunger like I did before. And I think I just got on with it a lot better this time. I think every time you do a diet, it's a lot easier. Yeah, I've noticed that for sure. Every diet is different, but every time you go down and diet, your ability to handle all the symptoms that come with it improves significantly. So all those mind games, all the hunger tricks, all the lethargy, everything that comes with the process, you just deal with it a lot better because you know what to expect. The first time you do it, you get hit by a ton of bricks because you've never done this before. And you constantly batting the mind games, the mental mess that comes along with the dieting process. Whereas this time, you know what's coming and you just kind of get on with it. Yeah. So someone asked me, like, how do you keep your mental focus on? How do you keep working while you're dieting and going really hard into the diet? I'm like, well, just get on with it. Like, it's just routine.
It's pretty easy for you as well right now.
Yeah, but it's easy because I'm just blocking it out, and that's why. It's just I've just gone on airplane. I've just gone on like autopilot and just executing. And I think each time you do it, it becomes a lot easier in that respect.
Yeah, even to be fair, I remember from September onwards, that's when you lost a decent amount of weight.
Yeah.
We didn't really notice it.
No one
in the team, like in team meetings, would normally notice it. Like, you know, I remember Nate was last year was like, "Oh mate, you're getting ugly about a day." As soon as I get my cheekbones in,
mate, I was pushing the bulk so hard that my face was just blowing up. Right?
Yeah, like we would know that straight away. And when Akash was on dieting, quote unquote, he was just, you know, making this a lifestyle. And you know, I'd see him pretty much each week, and I'd be like, I wouldn't think he's dieting. I wouldn't be like, "Hey mate, you're losing weight." Until one time, I was like, he pulled his top off, and I was like, "You got abs." And he was like 90 kilos about, I remember in September this time, you had like...
No, September I was about 84, 85.
Yeah.
But I had like borderline.
And I was like...
My borderline doesn't look that great.
Yeah, it wasn't like...
It's not like Ben. Like Ben has abs like all the way up to like 95 kilos.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it.
He stores it all on his back. Yeah. He's one of those guys, yeah.
And that's why I was like, hold on. Just dieting. And then suddenly he's like, I'm doing a photo shoot this year. And
no, I think what happened is I was 84, 85 around last September. And then I thought, I'm away for like nearly a month in December, December 2018. I've got a wedding in Thailand. So I thought, I might as well lose a bit more. So I naturally lost another couple kilos. Yeah. And then at the start of this year, my training was probably at its worst ever. And I think I'm going to do another podcast after the shoot and discuss all my training in detail. My training was at its worst probably in years between January and probably
March.
April.
Yeah.
It was when I was training for the half marathon.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, I was doing the half marathon running. Like I was doing the running. But I can't say I was enjoying the running. And I think it just had a knock-on effect to everything else because I couldn't train as hard because my legs were always fatigued from running. And my routine just wasn't there. So I didn't have that normal structure of my training. And it really threw me off with everything. And I think what was happening is I was going to the gym, not really there. And it came to like April time and I was down a couple more kilos, but I was just starting to look like skinny fat. I was thinking, what's going on here? I'm losing muscle here. I think I've lost muscle because my strength was going down. There was times when I was missing sessions, and that was not normally like me, but I was missing sessions, not because I didn't have the time or anything. It was just because of my motivation for it was slipping because of this running. So I did the running, and I wanted to see that through, but I don't think I wouldn't do it again just because I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, because you've done this for such a long time.
Yeah, some people love
change up.
No, they love the void you get into when you run, but I didn't get as much as other people. I just got a lot of knee problems in the end.
But to be fair, you were eating a lot less. So remember, you ate about 110 protein one time. We were in the car and you were talking about it, and you're like, "Hold on, mate, I think I mean 110 protein." And then
this was
you had
the
like
problem.
a panic attack.
Yeah, this was the problem. So what was happening is during this running period, and I'm blaming the running, but I don't think it was the running. I think it was just generally like my head wasn't in the game. And this was all the time when I was when I had the collapse and when I had all of the burnout symptoms. So it was all probably compiling together. But when I hadn't tracked my diet for a while, and it wasn't until I said to Kunal in the lead up to me going away to Asia again, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to Asia. I want to look a bit sharper for this. So I thought, let me work out what I'm eating now. Well, we were sitting in the car. I worked it out, and I was eating like 100 grams of protein, which is low, right? Yeah, that's low. I was 100 grams of protein. What was it, like 200 grams of carbs? And then like, I don't really know what the fat was.
50,
but
60.
So then what I started doing was I just pushed the protein up, and I got my training consistency back to normal. And lo and behold, in a few weeks' time, I felt like I was back to myself again.
Yeah.
And like mentally, I felt better. Everything was feeling better. And I realized then that how much training is important to my overall mental health and just generally how I deal with everything. Because what was happening is in January and February, when I hit that burnout period, my training was at its worst. Yeah. And I think it's because I wasn't giving training what it should do. And now, like, you could argue that I'm doing more than ever with regards to just general life, but I'm feeling as good as I've ever done because I'm training every day. I'm doing 6 days a week. I'm doing cardio every day, and I'm just making it non-negotiable. And I'm just getting it done. And I feel, clarity of mind, my structure, my discipline, everything's just carried over. And I think that's why when people say, or we always say the physical is a vehicle. Yeah, and this is exactly it. Like, I'm feeling those effects again that I was missing before. Like, I look back and think, oh, why was I not on my A game? And it was because I'd let down the physical foundation. The physical is the foundation of everything. And I'd neglected that. And through that, I'd neglected myself. Because when you do the physical, you internalize and you ultimately focus on yourself. When you let that go, when you forget about the physical process, and that when I say that, I mean, proper nutrition, proper training, proper general cardio and activity. When you don't do that, you just neglect yourself because you choose to sit instead of go for a walk. You choose to eat bad food instead of good food. You choose to skip training sessions instead of pushing yourself to the limit there. So there's so many things you miss out on. And at the time, I just blamed time. Like, I was looking at my steps the other day for January and February. Guess what? A couple of weeks, yeah, in January.
Less than 1,000?
Yeah, I averaged 1,500. For 3 weeks in January, I averaged 1,500. And I look back and I thought, what the heck? That explains everything. I was taking the car to the gym and everything. I don't know. You never take the car to the gym.
Yeah, you never do.
So that explains everything. I look back and I'm like, wow, the signs were there because I was neglecting myself. So what did I expect? Like, if I'm trying to, if you're trying to drive a Ferrari, you can't give it like shit fuel. And I was giving it shit fuel. I was giving it nothing. And that's why ultimately I crashed and my performance in all areas of life was going down. And it wasn't until I sharpened the sword in May that things started working again. And now I feel like I'm at my best again. So
even your physique shows for it right now.
Yeah, like I spent, so what was interesting is at the beginning of this diet, I actually held body weight for 3-4 weeks because I was regaining muscle.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much I lost. So it's been really interesting. I'm going to document this a little bit more after the shoot, just because I want to go through the whole journey and then talk about it all the way from, it'd be probably be interesting to talk about it for the whole 12 months and go through it.
Yeah.
We weren't even meant to talk about this today. We just kind of gone off on a tangent. But I think it's useful to
give you up there
go
training, right?
Yeah, it's going up. How's your training going? How's the bulk going?
It's going good. My coach, he said, let's maintain this for a bit because otherwise I have to push. I'll get super fat. I've changed gym. I've got 2 gyms now. I've got one in South Ruislip, Evolve, another Hammer Strength. So it's going good. My main focus is still, I want to improve my density from the front because it's one of my weakest areas, especially my chest. So that's always the goal. I've touched 42s.
Really?
Yeah.
How many reps?
It's still like 3 reps.
Oh, okay.
But before...
Incline.
Yeah, incline.
Yeah.
So that's one of my strongest. If you compare it to like 12 months ago, a year ago when I was dieting, that was one of my weakest lifts. So it's gone a lot better. And, you know, that's the goal for the next year, at least year and a half, before I go for another like full-on diet, probably a photo shoot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're in that phase where you need that one big bulk.
Yeah,
like,
that's what it is right now.
You need a long, big bulk.
Yeah.
I think that's what's missing. Like when I look at your shoot pictures last time, it's exactly that what you just mentioned, that density.
Yeah, like
and I think you just need a long period of building.
Yeah.
Like 2 years straight of just progressive overload, of just pushing the food and taking advantage of having not maybe had done one really long extended one for a while.
Yeah, I've never actually, I look back on it like every summer from 2016.
Yeah, you're cutting.
I've been cutting. Like I've been like the habitual dieter.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind dieting. If someone tells me, like if you told me right now, do you want to do a photo shoot in December? I'll think about it. All right.
Yeah, but the problem is you don't eat. That's it.
Then I'll just
you would never eat. I don't ever see you eating.
I eat, but I don't. The thing is, I find it really, really difficult.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So you're probably not. You don't get drawn to the bulking side of things.
Exactly, but I get drawn to the progressive overload.
Yeah,
I like that side of things. But when it comes to eating, I'm like,
Yeah, but you need to do
both. Another 1,000 calories in me. So I know even some of my clients struggle with this.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I realize that if I'll probably end up doing it anyway. I'll just bulk up as long as I can, and then see what my physique looks like.
Yeah, I reckon 2021 you do a show.
A show. I know you've been telling me about this actually.
Get your buddy smugglers out.
Thing is, I don't know. I'm realistic about it. Like, let's see how the next 18 months go.
Yeah. And
then I can make like a decision. I'll let you kind of have a look at it.
Yeah.
And
it'll be interesting to see.
My posing coach.
Yeah, you can ask Escott actually. He's pretty good at that.
No, Minnow's really good.
Minnow's good at it as well. Yeah, he's looking really good. So this podcast will probably come out the same week as his shoot.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see. But yeah, that's the update on our training. Training and food, and a little bit of life. What we're gonna do today, we've got we were just talking on WhatsApp a couple of weeks ago, and we were just basically between 2009 and 2013. I watched The Wire every year, the whole box set every year between those years. Watched The Wire and The Sopranos, both of them, between 2009 and 2013. And then I didn't watch it for a while. And then we were talking about The Wire, and I was like, you know what? I haven't seen it for ages. Like this is my favorite show of all time, and I haven't seen it for ages. So you know what? I got the box set out, and I thought I'm going to use this as my downtime now. Just plug in an episode here and there. And lo and behold, I'm now on season 4, episode 5. Nearly finished the whole thing again. And completely hooked. And we were just we were going back and forth on WhatsApp because it's one of your favorite shows as well.
Yeah.
And we were like, you know what would be really interesting is a podcast talking about film, music, movies, because that's something we both bond over. We both bond over that quite a bit, but specific genres in each one. Notably, for movies, it comes down to Mafia films. We're massive fans of Mafia films,
Indeed.
Which we'll talk about in a second. Their music, big hip hop fans. You're more of a kind of
the new school.
You're more of a new school. I'm more of old school.
Yeah.
And then TV, and again, similar. We have those. We enjoy the Mafia shows. We just need to talk about why we enjoy them in a second. But let's kick off by which one should we go with? You go with film?
Yeah, for film.
All right, let's go with it. I'll ask you first. Probably, you know what? The answers might be the same, so we have to give justifications.
Okay.
Because I know we've got very similar personal choices here.
Yeah.
All right, best Mafia movie.
That is a very hard question because I was thinking about this on the way when I was coming to yours, and I was thinking it's either Godfather Part 2.
Okay, Part 2, yeah.
Yeah, or Goodfellas.
Ooh,
it's between those, and I can't put it down to it. I want to hear your answer as well.
Okay, that's interesting because I'm gonna say Godfather Part 1.
Okay,
so maybe I'm gonna ask you why Part 2 versus Part 1.
Okay, so Part 2, the birth of Michael, basically. and seeing him.
The birth of Michael.
I say birth, but being the leader.
Okay, yeah.
And just seeing him, you know, becoming the godfather.
But would you not say that happens in season
2? Does
in part one?
Part one,
because the birth is part one when he executes the 5.
But then it was just like seeing him grow up. You know, when you see him first in the first film, you're thinking, here he is. You know, you see Sonny, Tom, and all them like in the table. He's like, you know, he's in his military uniform.
Yeah,
he's not quite the part. The second film, he's in the part, and Robert De Niro's in the film as well, actually.
Yeah,
that's what I love about, because De Niro, obviously going back Italy, he's Vito.
Yeah, the bit when he goes back to Sicily is really cool.
He's one of my favorite actors as well. So
that's interesting. See, I actually the reason why I like number 1 a lot is because of firstly it's the original, but also the arc. Like you talk about seeing Mike grow up, I actually think you see more of an arc in part 1 than you do in part 2. Because part 1, you see him as that.
The ruthless leader.
No, you don't. Because at the beginning, you see him as just the military guy, and the babyface military guy, and then you see him just suddenly evolve. Like in the Salotto killing, he's on edge, right, about it, which you would be, of course, right. But where you see him at the end, he's like a stone cold killer. Yeah. And the way he says to Kay, he's like, "You got one chance to ask me." And she's like, "Did you kill him?" And he's like, "No."
That line is
sick. But also the reason why I like part 1 so much is that that finale scene where all 5 of the heads get killed. That piece of cinematography has been used in so many different movies, TV shows since, where they show, like, I'll say in the part of The Godfather, they show the christening. Something really good's happening, and at the same time all the bad stuff's happening.
Yeah, I see that.
So they do this in Sopranos all the time, where Tony's at like his daughter's birthday or a musical, and something else is going on in the background. They do it in part 2 of Godfather. They do it in so many different shows, and it all came from that initial. I don't know if someone else has done it before, but I don't remember anyone else showing it the way
the dark lighting
Coppola did it there in the contrast. So I really like that, and I think Marlon Brando is incredible in that whole film. But for me, the original, I always thought, is it 1 or part 2? But in the end, for me, part 1 edges it.
Do you know why part 2? Because again, De Niro introduced.
Yeah,
I love Marlon Brando because that's a great character, and the way he played Vito was great. But the younger Vito comes in, and you know De Niro's mannerisms are like, he's a true, exactly. So that's something that was like, whoa. And then seeing Michael as well, the slick back haircut, I think I like his haircut a lot more as well.
Yeah, his suits were good in that film as well.
Exactly. I was like, whoa.
He had some damn good suits. You know what? I've always said, I'd love to get a tailored suit like that, the one he's got. But the problem with having a tailored suit is you got to keep your size. You got to fix on a size and stick with it. So once you go, you're off it, right?
Yeah.
So why? So which one are you going to choose then? You haven't picked one.
I'm still going to go for 2, but I'm also Goodfellas was one of those where it was it's another true story.
Yeah.
Right. Based on Henry Hill's, you know, his life and how he was in the Lucchese family. Was Lucchese?
I'm not sure which one it was.
It was Lucchese crime family, but how he got into there is quite raw. It's a Scorsese film.
Yeah.
Scorsese is one of my favorite directors in terms of his cinematography is amazing.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Scorsese.
Yeah.
He also has I like how he has a loyalty to certain actors, like even the support staff.
Yeah.
Even some of the same support staff show up in so many different places.
And a lot of them are now, we're on The Sopranos.
Yeah.
I remember when I watched The Sopranos, I was like, watching like Goodfellas.
It's the Goodfellas cast.
Yeah.
20 years later.
Exactly. Yeah. It was amazing. So,
10 years later.
Yeah, I can't, it's 1A, 1B kind of thing, or 1A, 1AA, and then 1A kind of thing.
Goodfellas is definitely in my top 5.
Yeah. What's your most underrated, like, crime family? Not family, but movie.
Most underrated one.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
One that never gets a shine.
I'd say, you know what? I would say Donnie Brasco.
I was about to say that.
Donnie Brasco. It's like such a sick film. But the story is insane as well. Like, I think it's because we've been talking about the story recently and how like to hold up a front for like a day.
6 years.
Is one thing.
Yeah.
To hold up a front for 6 years, like this guy did. What's his name? The actor is Johnny Depp, right?
Johnny Depp.
But the guy he plays, to do it for 6 years is insane. And what's even more insane is watching this guy's video interview that you sent me. Incredible interview. But it just shed light on what an incredible story that is. So if you haven't seen that film, I would highly recommend that.
Yeah, and think about it, his life is always on the line. Like if he messes up one day, he's dead.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, I'm putting off a front and I can go back home.
You can't hide it at all, right? So yeah, that's what I would say is most underrated and one that everyone should watch. Be a top 5. If you're just talking films, then it would be, for me, it's Goodfellas is in there, Godfather Part 1 and 2 is in there. For me, Lord of the Rings is always going to be in there. Like I think it's just an amazing film. So that would be in there as well.
For me, the most underrated one that no one really talks about is A Bronx Tale.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, you need to see that one. It's really, really good. It's basically about a young kid. He grows up in the neighborhood and he gets basically enticed in the whole life.
Okay.
And how it goes wrong for him. So it's really good. It's basically life lessons in that film. That's one of my... It came out like 99. De Niro's in it as well.
Okay, yeah. De Niro did quite a few of them, didn't he?
Yeah.
So here's a question then. Why Mafia films?
I don't know. Firstly, they're based on true stories. Yeah. So you can think, oh crap, this actually happened. So if people watch Narcos, like if you didn't know what Pablo Escobar did or what happened there, you'd be looking at thinking, this is fake. But then you realize this is actually a true story and what he did. And the same thing with like the Mafia style. It shows you life lessons of, what could happen. It's romanticized at the start and then, it goes downhill throughout the movie. And you realize, listen, like this is good and bad and evil, whatever. You learn a lot from it. And I've been watching, like, to be fair, since I was like 12 years old. Like it's enticed me. Whereas I'm not into like sci-fi. I'm not into any of that. I'm mainly into just anything that's realistic. And I know it's kind of happened before. And I'm like, oh crap, this has actually happened before.
Why does it relate to you though? Like
I don't know.
You haven't grown up in a mafia family or near that. No. You haven't been exposed to it in any way. What about it entices you into it?
I don't know. I think it's I actually can't pinpoint it. Yeah. To be honest, I can't really pinpoint it. It's just, I guess, everything it's a life lesson in one.
I agree. I think there's a lot you can learn about life from it. I think it gets romanticized way too much.
Yeah.
Because people think that they can live the life or whatever.
We romanticize it, right?
Yeah, but we romanticize it as a way of like, we talk about it, we romanticize it from a film perspective.
Yeah.
And then from an entertainment point of view, like it's very entertaining to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the reality is, you either end up in jail or dead.
Yeah.
Like there's no really other third option, is there? Like,
the thing is, movies that are romanticized, TV shows, exactly like, holy crap, this is actually their life.
Well, if you look at it, no, I don't know if I agree, because if you look at Godfather Part 2,
yeah,
it's quite a sad story.
Yeah, it's very sad.
In the end. Yeah. Like, you look at Michael, by the end, he's completely alone. He just killed his brother. Like, that's not even funny, man. It's like,
yeah, that's crazy.
He's killed his brother. Like, whether that happened or not, he just killed his brother. After he just took his son out to fish, and then he's just all alone. Like, he's got nothing.
Just looking outside.
He's got nothing.
Yeah, he's just looking outside.
All he's got is this empire, but nothing else. And for me, that teaches me what I don't want as well. I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like, you can be cold, but if you don't have everything else, like if you're killing a family, there's something wrong there. Like, and it's a paradox, because the Mafia is all about family, but in there they show that
you can kill anyone.
Yeah, and that really the code and the life is more than that.
Yeah.
So I think it's lessons. Like, they have things that you should live by and things you should be inspired by. Like the whole, if you make one wrong decision, you can get killed. It's just things you can be inspired by, things you can live by, where, the code and loyalty, trust. But there's also things that you look at it and think, no, I don't think that's...
They're like hypocrites.
Not hypocrites, but things like, maybe hypocrite, but also like, that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's not actually... Like, I'm glad I can see why you don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lessons in different ways that it teaches you, and I think that's why I've always been drawn to it. Like, for example, Goodfellas. You look at Goodfellas, amazing film, but look what happened to the end of all of them. Okay, Tommy, shot dead, right? Why? Because he beat someone up when he shouldn't have beat them up.
He killed a made man from a Gambino crime.
Exactly. So. Second, you got Jimmy Conway. What happened to him?
He got in prison.
Yeah, in prison.
Yeah.
And Henry Hill, he ended up being a druggie because he was so paranoid about everything, and he ended up in witness protection.
Yeah, and he came out of it, but then
he's in the middle of nowhere.
And he died now.
He's dead now.
Dead, yeah.
Did he get killed or
no? Heart attack.
Right.
So he's the only one who kind of
but how did he get out? He had to go to. He had to.
And he's always looking behind him.
He's living in the middle of nowhere, and he looked behind his shoulder all the time. So it just shows like yes, it's romanticized, but ultimately, it's not the way to do it. But what I do like, I mean, the other way we haven't touched on, but we always mention it is obviously they got a lot of good like business lessons, business negotiation lessons, leadership lessons, and there's a lot of things. Like one of my favorite scenes in The Godfather is part one when Salazar comes in and to offer Vito this partnership deal, and Sonny speaks out of turn. And then Vito says to him afterwards, "Never let anyone outside the family know what you're thinking." Yeah. I thought that was just a brilliant.
It's a great quote as well.
Like it's something I've watched with my parents, my sister, cousins, and we've always. I pinpointed it. I'm like, this is an important scene. You got to watch it. But I remember my mom said that too. She said that to me once. She said, "This is a really important scene, and it makes a lot of sense. That you should always carry this over. That family always comes first."
Powerful.
Yeah, so it's a lot of lessons, and I guess that's why we
talk about it in a way that no one else would know about it. I think like if someone hacks our conversations, they'll never know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we just talk shit about it.
Yeah, we're talking like pig Latin of Mafia. On WhatsApp, it's like people won't understand what's going on.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's go with a TV show then.
Okay, so I'm torn as well with this one. You know, we've been talking about this for a long time as well.
Go on, pick one though.
I'd probably have to say Sopranos.
Okay.
Because number one, without Tony Soprano, there wouldn't be any other TV like character like that, or TV show where they have that anti-hero. He gave the birth to the anti-hero. You know, Breaking Bad, all the Game of Thrones guys.
Yeah, well, when you feel sorry for the guy who's actually a bad guy.
Bad guy, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know,
so sorry for the bad guy.
And he's in his first ever episode. Yeah, the first episode is him, you know, in a chair with his psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And they're talking, and it's amazing just see that. You never think a mafia guy would be in there.
Yeah.
A capo would be talking about his mental health.
Yeah.
So it was just completely different, and it's very realistic of the life. If you hear like interviews of someone who's in witness protection, they talk about it very similar. Like, this is what actual life is like.
Well, it's very modern day. Very modern day,
and that's why I liked it a lot. And again, I watched it in the same time when I was at university, my first year. You know, when you have loads of time in you.
Yeah.
I remember I finished like pretty much each season within a month. Like within a month, I was like all done. I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. And so I'd probably have to say Sopranos and then The Wire.
Yeah, see, mine's the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the other way around.
We've had this.
It's very close. But I've always been drawn to The Wire just a bit more because I think it's even more realistic, and I think
I agree. I think it is much more realistic.
I think it's even more realistic, and I also think it's so raw, and I just hadn't seen anything as raw as that on TV, where it's just like it's depicting all parts of society and how they all link together. I guess the ultimate kind of sociology documentary.
Yeah,
you're bringing so many different environments together and how they all link together. So, for example, like the drugs links to the port, which links to the politics, which links to the police, which links to how the schools are run, which links to the media, and the way they layer it on
projects.
Like you start with one and they layer it. It's just insane how they've managed to plant seeds in season one that they somehow reap in season 5 and season 4, and you see little things, you make the connection, you're like, oh wow, that is very good TV, very clever TV. And what's interesting is when I read about it, they were never going to make 5 seasons, right? No. Because the HBO kept trying to get shut them down, or they kept trying to get shut down, or something like that.
Because they weren't getting no one was watching it.
Yeah. That's what's mad. No one was watching this back in the day when it actually came out in 2000 or 2001.
2001, yeah.
2001, 2002, that kind of time. No one was watching it. I first heard about it in 2009 because I was too young in 2001. I couldn't watch it when I was that age. But I first watched it when it came on BBC. So they brought it to BBC.
BBC Two, right?
They brought it to BBC. My dad taped it, and he was like, "I'm gonna watch this." And I think I was on study leave or something like that. And I thought, let me just watch what he's taped. And that's how I got into it. I got hooked, and I thought I asked for the box set for Christmas. And then after that, I watched it every year.
That's insane.
And I still watch. The funny thing is, I still watch it on those old school DVDs, even instead of Sky on Demand HD. Like I'm like, I'll go watch these old school DVDs.
Classic.
So yeah, for me, that just about edges it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Barack Obama's favorite TV show as well, so you know, it's got credibility to it.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't just say, "Yeah, it's my favorite TV."
Oh, so let's go on from that and say who's your favorite TV character?
Probably Tony Soprano.
Yeah,
Tony Soprano was, you know, like I said, just gave birth to every other anti-hero character. You know, without him, there wouldn't be like TV shows like that, or there wouldn't be a TV show where the anti-hero is like, you know, people want to be like this person, or they feel sorry for him. So for me, probably say Tony. But there's a lot of characters in Sopranos that I like. I really love. Paulie Walnuts, Silvio.
You remind me of Silvio.
I like Silvio a lot. You know, Christopher. Chrissy's good. So there's a lot of characters I like, but obviously Tony just edges it. You know, he shows leadership, vulnerability, you know, a lot of other things going on in his life, you know, mental health. So it's really, really good. And it was family life. So, you know, the breakdown of family life and, you know, running a whole organization. For me, that was really, really good. What about you?
What about the family life thing?
Just how it was, you know, how Meadow, his daughter, was like, "Are you the Mafia?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Who told you this?" and stuff. The birth of the internet was happening at that point.
Yeah.
You know, she was searching on who Tony Sopranos is, and he's like, "What's going on here?" So he was thinking, "No, we're not part of that." But at the same time, the wife is like, "Here we go again. Like, we know we're part of this."
Yeah.
And how they hid guns in the house, and you know, that's why I like Tony quite a lot.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. I mean, I said, someone asked me, you asked me on Insta Story yesterday, and I replied, I said Omar Little would be number 1 from The Wire, and number 2 would be Tony Soprano.
Yeah.
Number 1, the reason why I said Omar Little is just because I've never seen anything like it. Like, you could talk about that. There's nothing like it. You got a gay gangster who walks the street and people just give him shit. And what it shows you is that if you got a reputation that precedes you, you can do anything. Like, this guy's got such a strong reputation. He walks down the street and people give them his drugs and their laundry because they're scared they're going to get shot. And he's not even doing anything. Like, in one of the episodes, I think he goes out. He's just going out for a cereal box, right? He's going out to get cereal because he's walking. Everyone's saying, "Omar's coming, Omar's coming," and then they just give him they give it all up because they're scared of what's because he's developed such a strong reputation. And I thought, wow, this is very cool. And he's also the whole thing about having a code.
Man's got to have a code.
Yeah, I really like that. So, yeah, you just got someone who I don't think is ever going to be topped in terms of like uniqueness. Like, you got a gay gangster, but it's not the fact that he's gay. It's the way he acts and everything. It's the way he carries himself.
Yeah,
and you just don't expect it. Like, you just don't see it coming. Any of it.
I mean, gay gangster just says all right.
Yeah, you don't normally get them. As shown as the big, like, there's one in Sopranos, right? But that one shows it in a whole different way, in that he ends up getting killed for it. Whereas this guy is just running everything. Like, everyone's scared of him.
And everyone's scared of him, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, okay, that's cool. All right, next question. Best rapper of all time.
I'll let you go first for that, actually.
For me, this is just. See, I'm stuck in the 90s with this one.
Biggie.
It's gonna have to be Biggie. Like, it's so close between Biggie and Pac. I know my third one is Eminem. Third is Eminem. I'll give you number 3. Number 3 is Eminem. Number 2 is Tupac, and number 1 is Biggie. And then, see, Tupac. I love them both. Tupac. What impresses me more than anything is by the age of 25, he'd produced like over 700 songs, 12 albums. Like, he's so prolific. He has so many hits. If you're talking quantity, Tupac had way more than Biggie, because Biggie only had like 2 albums when he was alive, and 1 after. Whereas Pac had like 5 when he was alive, and they were all the same age roughly.
And he was acting. Like, people forget that.
And
Like, acting takes a long time.
He's doing everything. This guy was a workaholic. This is very admirable there. But Biggie had a bit more flow, and a bit more sass, and I think. Yeah, he's just rhyming. I think his flow just edged it for me.
I still haven't heard anyone like Biggie to this day.
The flow is just too much. But Pac is so passionate though. So there's super close. But for me, Biggie edges it.
What about the new
Plus,
school?
because Juicy is my favorite song.
Yeah. What about new school? Any that kind of stand out to you and thinking, I quite like this person and I continue listening
To be honest, I don't listen to as much new school. So, who would you be thinking of?
From 2000 onwards, probably.
Yeah, but like who? Like so that's 20 years now we're talking, right?
Okay, so let's go
So if
from
you're going 2000 to
2010
2010,
Yeah.
then I got a few. Like for me, like I love 50 Cent,
Yeah.
and that was also when Eminem was coming out big. So like if you're talking in the 2000s, the 2010, 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, I think was like incredible. And then like but since 2010, I can't really tell you. I wouldn't be able to really know. I mean, I know there's guys like Kendrick Lamar, Meek Mill, all these guys, but
J. Cole, yeah.
But I can't say I've listened to much of them, to be honest. It's not nothing against them. I just haven't listened to them much.
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised.
Whereas I know you're like 2010 to 2009 is your thing, right?
Yeah. Well, I want to say the thing. I listen to even old school. I'm not against old school. I like old school. Like Biggie, I love Biggie, Pac. But my favorite rapper, I think you probably already know the answer.
Yeah, Jay-Z.
Jay-Z. I think the totality. I've got to give him albums.
Yeah.
The work he's put in.
Yeah.
Since '96, right? I was born in '94, so he's been working since then. Rock Nation Sports. He's got a whole agency.
Yeah, but let's talk rap.
Just rappers,
we're
right?
talking rap. We're not talking about glamorizing his career, because you got to remember, if Biggie was still alive, would Jay-Z be as good? Probably not. I don't think anyway.
Why not?
I think Jay-Z is a great rapper, but I don't think he'd be as good as if Pac and Biggie didn't pave the way.
I just think he brags differently. Jay-Z. I just think the way he talks, he's very subtle about it. And I'm like, hold on, did you just say that? And he's like,
yeah, but the thing is, I think you got to stick to his rap. Let's talk about rapping. Okay, we're not talking about what he's built after, because he's obviously made his money at other things. We're not talking about business here. Keep it to rap.
Okay, for rap, even rap, I'd still say Jay-Z. If you ask even anyone to this day,
yeah, we're talking about you, man. We're talking about
even for me. Yeah, I've been saying this since 2009 when he came out with Blueprint 3. And I was like, he's the best rapper alive. To this, even now, I'll still say now, even Kendrick's in the scene, J. Cole, all these guys, I'll still say without Jay-Z, a lot of these guys still want to make it. And that's why I still give him the edge. But even, let's say with Biggie and Pac, right? If they were still alive to this day, do you think they'll be the greatest? Because it's even let's say Snoop, right? If Snoop died in 90-something, and he was great back then, now he's okay, but when Snoop comes out with music, I don't go...
Yeah, but when Jay-Z comes out with music, I don't get excited. I think his music has evolved a lot.
Yeah.
He's very commercial now. If you think about it, his songs are more commercial.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I'm just saying his style would have changed. I think that would have happened with any of them. Biggie was already doing that with, say, More Money, More Problems.
Yeah,
a bit more party sort of songs. Jay-Z obviously came to that and appealed to guys like yourself because you got exposed to that.
But Jay-Z has a different catalog as well. So from Reasonable Doubt, which was all about the streets, then it's the evolution in every album. So it's I'm the businessman now.
Yeah.
He's got that quote. And then the Black Album, him retiring from the game. He's got this evolution and then coming back. It's like an up and down thing where, and I've just seen it. He's never shied away from who he is. And that's what I like about Jay-Z the most, where you'll never see him be different. Even if it's commercial, his commercial music is still better than a lot of rappers.
And who are you comparing that against? Who are you saying that has changed?
Eminem.
And in what way?
Eminem was really good back in the day.
Yeah.
To this day now, if you ask a lot of people, they'll be like, he's okay. Because he raps about the same thing. It's F this, F that, and whatnot.
I disagree with that. I think he. I disagree with the fact that it's just F this, F that. I think he's the best MC of all time.
I think his rapping skills are amazing.
His ability to rap is better than anyone else.
I agree with that, but I think you got to look into content as well, of what they produce and how they produce it, and in the moment what they're doing. So I think that's quite important in my opinion when it comes to rappers. If Jay-Z, he's talking about Brooklyn Nets. And then so on. He's talking about that 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Now they're one of the best teams in the NBA. Why? Because he's brought that across. That's getting business, but it's still he's rapping about it. And he can rap about it and talk about Obama. Yeah. Obama's brought him into the White House.
Yeah. But then you got to remember the reason why he's getting all that is because he's just been around for so long.
Yeah.
So I've got to commend his longevity here. But I think you're still talking about all of the opportunities he's got. but they've all come from just being in the game for 20 years.
But that's consistency, right?
But and the fact that really he was able to take his platform to the next level because he ventured into different things, and he made so much money from the other stuff that he was able to put more behind his music, which then ultimately allowed him to hit people harder.
Depends though. Some people say that after he became, in businesses, he became worse. So like before, let's say you got Reasonable Doubt, Blueprint, and then you got the Black Album.
See, I think those are his best albums.
Yeah, I love Black Album to this day.
All the ones like all his best songs, which I think are like Lucifer.
That's me.
All those songs from that era.
Yeah.
For me, they're like Hard Knock Life. All those ones were like for me, they were his best ones. But after that, it became a very different story with him. But it's fine because he adapted to the times, and that's why he's done so well commercially.
But like, if you look back on Nas, right?
Yeah.
Look back his evolution. Came from the same era, to now.
Yeah, and so I 100% agree with you that no one has kept the consistency as he has. Like, for example, Nas, if you compare like Illmatic and like, so that's probably his best album.
And then compare after that,
No, his other albums were good, but never as good as Illmatic. You compare Jay-Z's best album, then I think Illmatic beats Jay-Z's best album. But if you compare like who's got the most hits, then it's Jay-Z, no doubt.
Yeah, it's trophies at the end.
And by the way, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just. No, it's good.
I'm
just firing you up.
Yeah, it's good
because I know you got too much emotional attachment to Jay-Z. But I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at it different angles here and just thinking it's not as straightforward as that. But yeah, I still think if you compare it, say if you talk about like Pac's amount of content he had, talk about consistency. That's 700 bangers he dropped. Right?
That's crazy.
And he's talking real shit. Like he's not even bright. He's talking politics. He's talking sociology. He's talking
psychology as well.
Black rights. He's talking all sorts of things, man. Like stuff that no one else was rapping about on that level. Like a lot of the 80s guys and the early 90s, like really old school guys, they were doing all of that stuff. But Pac came in and just did it to another level to ultimately.
I mean, the evolution also changed, right? It was like all about the DJ in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And then it moved into the actual rapper. So, things changed. It'll be interesting.
I think they all just paved the way for the next generation. They all paved the way. Like, for example, if you talk about like NWA, they paved the way for all the people in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like Pat, Ice Cube wasn't in NWA, but when he went solo, and then when Dre went solo, so that started it, and then that then led to Jay-Z, Nas. That led to Eminem, 50 Cent, G-Unit, all of them. They dominated for a bit.
And Kendrick.
And then it's kind of been like Kendrick, J. Cole. So it's like everyone passes it on to the next, pass the baton on. So yeah, interesting discussion.
Yeah, it's big. I think we'll revisit this all the time.
Yeah.
I think we'll always revisit this.
Yeah, and by the way, just for the record, I'm not anti Jay-Z. I actually love Jay-Z.
Yeah, I know you.
Yeah.
But obviously you always have the argument against.
I think it's because I've listened to more old school. That's why. So I'm always a bit like.
I grew up with Jay-Z. Yeah, that's the difference.
You grew up.
Yeah.
Even though I think we still kind of. I think I grew up listening to what my older cousins were listening to.
Yeah.
So I got exposed to rap from my older cousin, who is 9 years older than me, and she introduced me to Juicy. That was one of the first songs I listened to. She introduced me to Biggie.
It's classic.
So I think that my bias comes from that because I was first introduced to Biggie and Pac. And whatever they were listening to, and they grew up when Biggie and Pac were at his biggest, and then I grew up during like 50 Cent when 50 Cent was blowing up. So I remember when he dropped "Get Rich or Die Trying," I mean I was printing the lyrics out, listening to the songs. Like Eminem, all these guys were coming out when they were at their height. When I was like a young teen, but I was first listening to rap through my older cousins, and it's because of that I think the bias comes from.
Yeah, same. Even my older cousins were listening to Jay-Z at that point, so it was that album featuring Linkin Park. They did the whole collab album.
Yeah.
That's when I first heard it, and I was like, Encore was one of those like tracks. Where I was like, crap, who is this? And I started obviously researching about Jay-Z. High school, I was like, yeah, this is the best rapper for me at that current moment. And then ever since then, I've never like changed my mind. I've never been like, I've always liked Biggie and Pac. Because obviously you hear about them, you hear the stories, you look back on it, you listen to like Biggie. I listen to this day, and I still haven't heard anyone like him.
Yeah,
like when they say like in basketball, talk about like who's like Michael Jordan, they're like Kobe is a mixture. And then when I look back on this era or any era of music, I'm like, who's like Biggie? I'm like, probably no one. Yeah. Like I can't think of anyone who's.
Well, I'll say the same about Pac.
Yeah, even Pac, you can't. Yeah,
there's too many bangers he's dropped. Like his albums are fire.
But they say Kendrick's very similar.
He's got so many albums that are just straight fire from track 1 to the end.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one.
That was a good debate.
So we've done Mafia, done rapper, done TV show, done TV character. Right, we're gonna switch it to. We're gonna do favorite exercise. Feels like it's just.
We did that at the start, right?
Yeah, I feel like
we're way past it.
No, I just feel like we've done that one. Like, we already know the answer, right? Yeah. You know what I'm going to say. You know, I don't know what you're going to say, but I know what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what I'm going to say here. So let's skip past that one. Let's go with let's skip the favorite meal as well. Let's go with your favorite RNT moment. Just switch it completely up.
Okay.
From an individual and a team.
So for me, individually was my first transformation. Because obviously it was a long time coming, and I was always like, I need to get this transformation done. And it was Sunil who actually posted his muscle building after a couple of weeks ago. So it was his transformation, which I remember you telling me, listen, pictures are there. She gave tell him peak week him and get the right set of pictures, and then that was it. And then obviously Shalini Desai was the next one, and then after that it's been rolling. But for me, that first transformation was one that kind of kicked things on for me. Favorite team, I'll probably have to come back to one actually. So I'll let you go with your favorite moment so far.
Favorite moment. That's a real tough one.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
It is a hard one. So I'm trying to think. I'm looking back all over all the memories. I mean, there's one big one. There's plenty of big ones, but I think I'm going to say my favorite moment is probably the 2-year anniversary party.
And I was going to say that.
Yeah, I can't think of a whole day and an evening that I was on such a high, but an emotional high. Like I was on something else. That one will be tough to beat. That was just incredible. Like how many people turned up, the atmosphere, the energy, the stories, the emotions, everything was just incredible. I think that's my favorite. It's tough because that's also like a team moment, but I think individually I just felt something internally in myself. I thought, wow, this is an amazing moment.
Yeah, it's powerful. I was going to say that actually, the 2-year anniversary, because it was a culmination of, all the hard work you put in, but at the same time, it's seeing your clients in there, everyone else's clients in there.
Well, it's all of our clients.
Yeah, all of our clients, and you're thinking, holy crap, like this guy's lost X amount of weight, and I've never met him before until today. That was kind of, it was surreal to me. And also I'd say just building a team.
Yeah.
Like it's a team
so
moment.
What moment? You're going to actually go.
I think just building a team and seeing everyone develop, the people we've hired and seeing them seeing Elliot's first transformation.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to him, he was buzzing about it. I remember the same feeling I had as I was like, yeah, that's amazing, right? And he was like, yeah. And he's caught the bug now. He wants the transformations like week in, week out. And I was in the same boat, and I'm in the same boat. So for me, it's seeing also like other coaches develop, and just seeing the whole team grow. And we're always getting better behind the scenes. I think we'll probably talk about that, but yeah, I think for me, those two events have been really, really stand out.
That second event, what is the second event? You just mentioned like a general theme, but what is have you got a moment there that you used? This is what I'm doing, like a moment. Like for you, that moment was, the individual moment was when you sent that transformation over, or you got the transformation.
Yeah, and you were like, oh yeah, it's good. You approved it.
My moment is like, I'd say if I pinpoint the moment, it'd probably be like when I was on that stage and just like, I couldn't even speak. I didn't even know what to say. That moment when I just like looked down, saw my parents there, been through all the struggles and ups and downs, saw you guys there.
Yeah.
In there, I saw my best friends were in there, all our clients. it's just like everyone I wanted to be in the room was there. And I think that moment of just seeing everyone was just like one I won't forget for a long time.
Yeah, for me, it was just the clients. I was thinking, like, how much kilos has everyone lost here combined? Yeah. That's what I was thinking about. Like, I was just thinking, I was like,
you know what was a really cool moment actually that night? I think we had that moment is that we were just, I think it was just me and you just chilling for a bit. I think it was like halfway through the night. And people were just taking photos, right? We were doing like a little photo shoot. Like, I remember thinking, you know what, this is really cool. Like, just me and Kmak here.
Yeah. And I don't even remember what we were talking about. I just don't remember.
I don't really remember. Don't even remember how I got home. You know what? The other day,
I drove you home.
You know, last week, the funny thing is, Barvik, you know, my cousin, goes to me. I hadn't seen him since the party. It's about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. He goes to me, oh yeah, it's a really good night, wasn't it? I was like, yeah. How'd you go? I said to Barvik, how did you get home? He goes, what do you mean, how did I get home? I took you back in an Uber. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, Akash
he was the one that ordered the Uber.
Yeah. Akash was falling asleep.
That was a long day, man. That was a long day. But that was really good, really pretty fun. That was a good moment. That moment is what I'm talking about. As an individual, just for, I think that was a really cool.
To be fair, that day was also crazy because I remember I had a photo shoot in the morning. Yeah, I just come back from India.
Yeah,
so I was jet lagged. Yeah, I had a photo shoot in the morning, and it was I was jet lagged as well. Yeah, I remember you came back exactly. Yeah, and Nathan missed his flight.
Yeah,
so there was a lot of those events as well, and then obviously you all came together in the end, and yeah, for me that was it was like surreal. I was like, holy crap, this is amazing, and that's why I was like, we need to do another one straight. Remember the next day we were thinking, when's the next one?
Yeah.
Like, everyone was like, when's the next one?
When you said you wanted to pinpoint that team one, what's the team one then?
Just seeing our team grow.
You got a specific moment in mind?
Like Elliot's
transformation.
His just the transformation had dropped. I was like, and seeing him, and that was one of his like big highlights.
Yeah.
And I was like, that kind of made me smile because I was like, I remember that in September, and I saw the joy in his face, and I was like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. And another moment. I guess these are quite recent because they're more fresh in mind.
Yeah.
But definitely the shutdown period. Mm-hmm. Like, that was insane. And I can describe the whole weekend to you. Like,
do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so look, so we had this... so we shut down for the first time in May. And then we were building up to the reopening. And then on a Thursday, I was with Suraj, who handles all our technology behind the scenes, and Pooja, our business manager, and she was. We were talking, and they were like, "Have you considered what would happen if things crash?" I'm like, "Nah, we don't need to worry about that. Nothing's going to crash. I think it's going to go two ways. We'll either have a decent day and we'll sell out by Wednesday, or it's just going to be like just ripples, like nothing." And they were like, "Okay," like nodding their head, but they could tell that I was just being super cautious. So I was like, oh, well, anyway, I've got my team working on speeding it up as much as I can, just in case. So it comes to Saturday, and I'm out, and I can't function. Like, I can't think about anything. I'm like, that whole morning, I remember working from on Saturday, I was working from I think 10, I thought I'd start. So Saturday is always my day where I do a couple hours in the morning, and then I try and take the afternoon off. Mm-hmm. That day, it was about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And I hadn't eaten yet, and I just took some caffeine, and then I took another caffeine pill. Then I went to a coffee shop and had this really strong coffee, and I remember being like, I was off my gills, right? But what happened afterwards, like 1, 2 o'clock, I still hadn't eaten, because at the same time I was so nervous, and I had my heart was racing. I was like, oh my God, this is all happening tomorrow. Like, so we're reopening tomorrow. And all day I couldn't think, right? I couldn't think straight. And then I slept at maybe 11:30, and then I woke up I couldn't sleep. Woke up at 5 a.m., popped 2 caffeine pills. I thought, well, here's a day. Did a couple of social media videos.
That's all that.
Getting it ready. Posted them at 6, and then I opened up the inbox, and I'm thinking, all right, what's going to happen now? And I just get emails saying the sites, I can't log onto the site. So I'm thinking, what the fuck has Suraj done? Is he messed up the whole site? And then I text him dude, the site's down. He's like, I'm aware of it. The whole thing's crashed. I'm like, what? And then it was just mental. That whole day, I think I was on the sofa from 5:30 in the morning to 11:30 p.m.
Yeah.
I don't think I left it.
Because I remember you messaged me. You were messaging me around like even 10, and I never get a message from you from like 10 onwards. I was getting a message like,
"What are you doing up?"
Yeah. I was like, "What are you doing up?" He's like, "Just been up the whole day."
That day you had more than 1,000 emails. No, and this is no joke.
Yeah.
Over 1,000 emails. What happened is the next day when I was trying to go through it all, my elbow and my wrist were getting like this RSI. Like I was getting serious RSI. My elbow, my forearm, I could tell everything was just feeling really weird. I was like, shit, this is not good. Because I was typing like a madman for 2 days straight. and like trying to clear these emails. But yeah, that moment was just insane. And that, you know what? That whole week, it's like a moment, but I won't forget it because I felt like everyone was putting their weight and everyone was just like going for it, right? We were all like, for me, like that day, Sunday and Monday, me, Suraj and Pooja were just going balls to the walls, like, you know, just clearing everything. And then from like Tuesday to say probably Friday, you guys were just like non-stop. And I remember a really cool moment. Actually, here's the moment that I really liked.
Yeah.
When we got on the team call that week on Wednesday.
Yeah.
We got on the team call. Every Wednesday we at 12 o'clock British time, we have a team meeting. And we all got on the call. And all of us, we were like, I always started, how's everyone feeling? And everyone was just like, and that moment was brilliant because like I remember Ivan's face was summed up. He was like, this is Ivan, right? The Mr. Shredded, Mr. Cool. He was red-faced, puffy eyes. And he was like, he had slept for 4 days. He looked completely whacked. But that moment, and this is not like glorifying that whole thing, but you know, sometimes you gotta push the red line.
Yeah.
And that moment of knowing that everyone was like on the verge was just super cool, and that we were all just like so pumped and so excited and so into it, and it just felt that was my team moment. I'm gonna say that the moment we got on the team call and we were just like, how's everyone feeling? And everyone just like almost burst into laughter because we were just like, there's no other way to describe it.
Because no one said anything. Everyone's just nodding their heads, and then it was like crap, and then we all started laughing.
I think it was Ivan who just said like,
mate. He goes, mate, and then everyone just started cracking up, and
that's got to be it.
That was another cool moment, to be fair.
Yeah, all right, they're really good. Let's say the next one. Let's talk about the last year then.
Big.
So I'll ask you then. Obviously, RNT has changed a lot in the last 12 months, like massively. You joined, back then it was a team of 4 of us.
Yeah.
Now it's 10. What have you enjoyed about what have you found? How have you found the last year as we've grown as a team, as a company, as a person, etc.? So
you remember I told you like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, before we used to talk about doing things.
Yeah.
Now we execute them very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that kind of stood out to me for this year. It's been very much like, what do you think of this? And then if we get on board with it, most of the people on board, okay, it's done within the week. There's a lot of events that we used to do behind the scenes. Now we collect data as well.
Yeah.
Last year, we never collect any data. We didn't know what was happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, we had no idea. And now I can tell you exactly what's going on.
Yeah, you can tell me straight away, like, this is a percentage of this. And we're like, oh, crap. Numbers don't really lie. So before then, we never had numbers to look back on. And now we're data driven, but at the same time, we understand, what works, what doesn't work. And we look back on the numbers and say, okay, this backs up this.
Yeah.
And I think that's been great.
Any other examples?
Team meetings as well. Previously used to be a year ago, about 10 minutes long.
Yeah, they're about 20 minutes long, 10, 20 minutes,
10
right?
minutes, yeah.
Just a bit of laughter and then
how you doing,
get
mate?
off.
Yeah, good. All right, take care. See, now it's like, an hour, but it's structured. We have agendas. We talk about it.
Yeah.
Everyone has their input. And I think that's very crucial. I think a lot of our culture now is all about improvement.
Yeah.
We never think we're ready-made, or we don't think, we're now, the trainer. We always want to think, okay, what can I improve on?
Yeah.
And I think that's great about it. And, even in our team meetings, we'll highlight certain situations where could you improve on this? And no one's afraid of thinking, oh crap, why are you calling me out? I like that actually. So I think that's improved a lot in my opinion for the last year.
I think the culture in the last year has completely changed for the better.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, yeah, I mean, we all know what's changed. It's, huge difference. But I think what you talk about there about speed of implementation, I think that's our biggest asset. Like speed. For example, the mastermind, on July what was it? June the 21st, something like that. I said to Nathan, we're going to launch it in 2 weeks. And he was like, all right, what do we need to do? And there was like a document of 30 different things we had to do.
Yeah.
Content, sales page, marketing, everything. Within a week, everything was done.
Yeah, it's just a speed.
Even like earlier on today, you were like, "Oh yeah, so I've been writing the new RNT culture document." You were like, "Oh, when's it coming out? In December?" I'm like, "Nah, 2 weeks time."
Exactly.
So yeah, I think speed is a big one, and I think what you said there about improvement culture, that's been huge. Since September, for sure, we've been all about internal improvement, and everyone gets feedback, not just like me to you, but you to me.
Yeah.
Like I ask you, what could we do better? How can I be better? Nathan grills me on performance octave reviews. Like, it's super transparent. It's very open, very candid. And like you said, the numbers don't lie. And I think that's the best bit. And I think the best thing about this whole thing that we have, this thing of ours, let's tie it back in. This thing of ours is that improvement culture, is the team. And it's the fact that, this could be a very lonely thing to do. Online coaching is very lonely.
Yeah.
I could never understand why anyone want to do it on their own. It's very, very lonely. To do it as a team.
And not even to that, let me add to that. Could you improve on your own versus a team? So like I say, when I first got in the PT industry, I wanted to learn, right? I wanted to learn how to get the best possible results. I couldn't do that by myself. So I came to RNT and I learned in a year. I wouldn't have got the results by myself if it wasn't for RNT. So even then, I think, if you're willing to learn and wanting to learn, you've got to do it in a team. And, You know
what? People say, oh, yeah, business is all a solo game or whatever. Bullshit. Complete bullshit. It's a team sport. It's a complete team sport. You have to have a team. And we only exist now because of our team. Like, we all have our own roles. We all have our own strengths, all our own weaknesses. And we all believe in what's happening and what we're doing. And that belief is what's going to carry us through. And our biggest threat is not the competitor. It's not the market. It's a threat to the culture inside. Mm-hmm. It's the internal that we have to worry about. So long as we maintain our team culture, then there's no stopping us.
100%.
Then what will happen is we stick to our values, we stick to our mission, we stay on track with everything we're meant to do, we stay strong in this team. What will happen is we'll look up and we'll realize that we're the number one platform for online coaching for regular busy people, where they want to come and they want to achieve a physical transformation, but they want to use that as a vehicle for the greater good. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're trying to do here. But that can't be done alone.
Yeah, it's got to be done with the team.
That's going to be the team that believes in that. And I think that's what's really changed in the last year. Is it's become it went from not having that spirit to now we're all aligned. We all accept feedback as critical. We all know we got to improve from within, and we're clear on what we need to do.
Mm. Our team is very coachable as well. I think that helps.
Yeah, being coachable is huge.
Like, everyone's very much like, okay, what can I improve on? And that's what's the biggest thing, It's never, no one's really got an ego.
Like what was really, like, I loved it when I think I emailed you guys with the new octave reviews that we're doing.
Yeah.
And it was a hard data-driven checklist on how to execute
certain things,
a certain part of coaching. And Ben replied straight away saying, I fucking love this.
Yeah.
And I thought that is the way.
Because then you know what you can improve on.
Ben has been in the game for over 10 years. And if he's still saying that just says everything you need to know about the guy. Yeah. And I was like, that is like hands up to, like like about you know, like you just want to clap and you just want to, that's exactly it. That's what we want to hear. So that to me has been the favorite part of the last year, for sure.
Yeah, it's been a good journey.
So what's next? What you're most excited for in the next year with RNT?
I think just keep on improving. You know, we're talking about this right now on this particular thing. In 6 months' time, there may be something different we may do. And I think not stopping where we are, and always improving on something. Whether, you know, you may find something in 2 weeks' time, and you'd be like, guys, this is a game changer.
Yeah,
you know, that would be great for us to implement. And I think, improving all the time, and then just going global. I think that's the thing.
I mean, that for me in the next 12 months is definitely to push us more out there. It'd be great. It'd be awesome to have more coaches around the world. Mm-hmm. I think that'd be a really cool way of I don't know. Like, I think it's just really cool to have different cultures on board, different opinions, more diversity. I think that'd be really cool. I also, the global aspect is very exciting. But like you said, the improvement from within, and the fact that, you know, we have our own almost in-house lab, but we can see, like, I don't read research papers now. I read our research, our lab,
we've got research.
We've got our own research lab here. We look at what works for our clients and think, okay, what's working? What's not working? How do we write this to make this work? How do we do this to make this work? There's not like, let me try this because I thought I might work well, or this worked well in the research for professional athletes. Or is that going to work for? Is that going to work for the general population guy who's got tons of stresses, doesn't think about training throughout the day, or whatever it is, right? Probably not. So there's a very unique angle there that I think is something that is very special, a special asset for us. So I'm looking forward to seeing more insights that we can develop. I think that's very, very exciting in the next year. Looking forward to doing potentially. I've got on my list of goals next year is to host a meetup outside of the UK. So we obviously got the one in California this year, which I think is really cool. I'm excited for that. But doing structured meetups, I'd love to get out to Kenya to do a meetup in Nairobi. I'd love to do a meetup in New York. I'm putting out here right now because I want the listeners who are in these areas today. I'd love to do a meetup in Australia. I'd love to do a meetup in India. And so West Coast, East Coast of America, Kenya, India, Australia, and even Canada if you can get there. So, you know, if you're listening to this, you're RNT in those areas, then let's set it up, because I think it's a really special moment when you go from the online to the offline. And I think one of our core values is community. Mm-hmm. And while we foster that through our Facebook group, and through the meetups, the webinars, I think doing it globally would be a step further. That would be insane. Like,
it's like, you know, when you meet that person, they're like, you changed my life, and you've never met that person. Yeah. That's when you're like, whoa. That's why I think, you know, if we go to these events globally and actually host them.
Because we've got people there. That's the thing. So we've got people there. We just need, if we can get a good amount of people, then we can get out there and host it. So that's exciting. So that's, what did you say? You said improvement as well. Yeah. So we both aligned there. Mm-hmm.
They're within the next year, 12 months.
Yeah, it's very exciting. But the other thing is, like, 12 months is also hard to look. Sometimes I find that hard to look forward, because 12 months back, I'm like, wow, it was so different.
That's what I was saying. Like, you know,
it's so different.
12 months, I was thinking, the last year's gone like great. First, it's very quickly.
Yeah. How mental would it be, right?
Yeah, I don't remember much, to be honest, because I'm like, it's always a step further. Yeah, it's always something different the day after.
Always something happening. Always some issue, some problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Some good things, some bad things. But, you know, what's been great is that, this is another thing I'd say, is when I've myself have been faced with particular issues, particular problems or mistakes I've made. Like, I've made some bad mistakes that I'm paying for. Mm-hmm. You guys have always had my back, and I've always been very transparent about that.
Yeah.
About the mistakes I've made, and any struggles I've had. So when I told you guys, like, you know, I collapsed, or, you know, it
made you more human, right?
Yeah, it made me human. But also, like, when I had, you know, other issues, that could have been seen as bad. You guys had my back, and you completely understood where I was coming from. I explained it. So, you know, mistakes and struggles I've had, you guys always supported. So for that, there's a lot of gratitude there, and a lot of thanks. Because ultimately, like I said before, it's a team sport.
Yeah.
And you know, I like to think that, you know, if a teammate is low, or a teammate is going through stuff, we're always there to help.
Yeah, that's what when you said it in the team meeting, first time, you're like, guys, you know, you're very vulnerable at that point.
Yeah.
There's one team meeting, you just like, everyone was like, whoa. You know, it took me back as well. I was like, yeah, it was one of those periods where it's January, after January, and we had that team meeting in March, and yeah, it was very surreal. And
yeah, I remember the moment. That was another actually cool moment.
Yeah, it just seeing.
There's been a couple of times, I had that one, and then other times where I've made some costly mistakes. That, yeah, all fun stuff.
Live and learn, right?
Live and learn. But yeah, I think this has been a good episode. Anything else you want to cover? We had a couple other questions, but I feel like that's a good place to end it.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. Any parting words?
No, just keep doing what you're doing, what everyone else is doing as well. My clients keep dieting. You're dieting. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, yeah, should be a good year.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop this one mid August. So I am gonna be probably 3 weeks out by the time I drop this. Yeah, it'll be good to do another 2 kilos down, hopefully. And I'll do a full catch up episode on the shoot once it's done. Maybe Nathan's actually doing the shoot with me, and he's doing the whole diet, traveling nomadically. So it's gonna I think it's gonna be a super insightful episode when we talk about how he's dieted. Because if he can nail this, there's going to be very few transformations that can beat that. You can
give you an update as well, because I'm like consulting him basically.
Yeah.
He sent me his best set of pictures yesterday. Because normally I was like to him, just don't take pictures. You're looking awful right now, mate. And, you know, yesterday he sent me pictures like, okay, you're looking good now. And he was, you know, he's in Brazil right now. He's traveling. He's traveled 3 different countries in 3 weeks. You know, the environment's completely different. He's taking weighing scales. He's weighing out as well as he could.
Yeah.
You know, so he's doing really well. And I think he'll come in.
If he can do this, it's going to show everyone who uses travel as an excuse, like more for work travel. So when people say, I've got travel for work for every week, and they say they can't get into shape because of that. Well, Nathan's traveling for work all the time, and he's going to try and get shredded. So if he can do this,
I'm excited.
Then that is going to be one hell of a transformation, and it's going to be an amazing story and episode to record. We're going to record that in Cali.
Whoa.
Hey.
I like that.
Otherwise, I think that's it for us. I think we've
would you like on the podcast next?
We talked too much. Who would I like on the podcast next? Yeah.
I asked you last time as well. You said who did you say? The Rock or Arnie?
I said Arnie. You know what? It's a weird one. I'm gonna challenge myself to hold a solo episode.
Okay.
So that's gonna be my challenge to do that in the next month. I'm gonna try and release a solo episode and see if I can do it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's going to be tough because I've never done that before. I mean, the reason why it's a challenge, I want to do it now in the next month, is because it's been nearly a year since I've taken over the podcast myself. So to go from not really playing much of a part in the podcast and to be honest, not actually really enjoying it, to really enjoying it and learning how to host the podcast, go from having structured questions to literally just having a couple of words on a board to sometimes just, I don't have anything. I just like have a conversation with you. Like today, we pretty much just had a conversation. We had a few topics we wanted to cover, but we had no idea we were going to talk. We've been on tangents most of the time. 20
minutes for that.
Yeah.
Training, right? We didn't have that on the agenda. So
to now, I think the next step would be to try just to see what happens. It could be a complete flop. It could be interesting. But I'm going to do a solo episode and see how it goes. And that's it's not me asking. So I'm always asking for myself to be alone on the podcast. What about you?
It's hard. It's really hard. Again,
you know what would be nice actually? You know what would be a good one?
Yeah.
It would be one that we haven't actually done is a team live podcast.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we've always done it on Zoom.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good one to do around the table.
Yeah, because it's much more structured as well, and it's a lot, back and forth. It's very much.
You don't have to worry about the Wi-Fi because when we go on Zoom and there's a lot of people, it stretches hard,
yeah.
The capacity.
Who am I looking? I was going to say Michael Francis.
Michael Francis.
It'd be wicked, but at the same time, it's very, very difficult to get him.
Yeah.
It's very, very difficult. You got Scott Stevenson coming again.
I would love to get David Goggins on the show. I don't know if you listen to much of his stuff. I'd love to get David Goggins on the show.
He loves him.
I love that guy. I think he's got so much powerful insights. I think it'd be great. But I think a team one around the table would be brilliant. I think
live team podcasts.
Yeah, the ones I enjoy them the most. I think it's always great just chatting back and forth for an hour and saying his work.
Yeah, I like that.
Brilliant. If you enjoyed today's episode and you feel other people would share our values and insights on the Mafia, on rap, on training, and on RNT's growth and journey, more is the better word, RNT's journey, then please share with your family and friends and leave us a positive review. Really appreciate it. Thank you and au revoir.